Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is a 2v2, a custom one, not a part of the WWPC tourney. We have this guy in FTX Commando on the bottom team. FTX going UEF as always. This guy has a Cybran Commander, Snowbound, better known as Blodir. Has returned to FAF recently and he's playing alongside Nexus. Nexus is Seraphim, Blodir, UEF, and the map is Rush Me More. This was I've never actually played this map, but I think it was a very common map some years ago. Not so common anymore, although still played. And you can see what this map is all about. You start with 10 mexes in these bases here, hydros, then many more mexes moving out, a large land bridge, and water with beaches. 10x10 map, so you're close to your opponent. From the water you can hit almost everything, pretty much everything actually. From one side you can probably hit somewhere around here, depending on what units you have obviously. If you have torrents, T3 missile ships, well, you're gonna hit everything. So we have Nexus already upgrading a mex. I don't think that's actually good, to be honest. Considering you have so many mass extractors to build, you probably can't. Well, we'll see. I think it might be a mistake. I think on this map, I think you would want to make mexes with 2 engineers, not a single engineer, because you know they take 13 seconds to build or something like that. Let's see, 12. Yeah, I think expand with 2 engineers here. Build the mexes faster. That would be nicer. Nice balance. He's gonna waste some power likely, and he has no second factory yet. We want to try get some air fast. I mean, if somebody prepares some T1 bombers, kills a lot of upgrading mexes in your base, and it's going to be painful. This guy is already on his way to T2 with the commander. Worth noting that a factory going to T2 is cheaper than commander going to T2. It's one of those noob questions where it's like, should I just make T2 commander or T2 factory? And it's sort of like a question that just misses the point of the text. You know, you don't make a commander for the same reason you make a factory a lot of the time, but in this case the reason for making a factory or commander is actually the same thing. He wants T2 PGen. You can see here the cost 800 mass, 2100 power. Factory 21,000 power, I should say. T2 factory is more expensive on mass, but less than half the energy cost, which is what he really lacks, is the energy, not the mass. And now he's gonna make PGen, but he has so much mass and actually no power to make it, so not the best build from this guy, unfortunately. Snowbound, Blodir, let's see what he's doing. Making quite a few T1 PGens now. A lot of engineers. No T2 tech coming yet. You can see Nexus making his T1 PGens as well, and we have Navy. We also have these corners, which are like they have some farmland on them or something. Several mexes in the corner there to be taken. Blodir's walking. I mean, he could just transport. Also a couple of mexes here, but not a huge deal. So overall the builds, you can see the rating mapping perfectly to the builds, more or less. Although the top team seems to be behind on T2 mexes. No, in fact, they're not. They are behind on mass income, or they were. So a lot of mechs is upgrading at once here. Need some assistance, more NGs in the base. You can also, when you upgrade, the mass surges are actually more efficient than they are generally, because you can place them in the middle of many mexes. So I think actually upgrading, say, 4 T2 mexes here and then placing a storage in the gaps may be more efficient than just upgrading them all to T2. Not sure though. I think it should be. That's a single tank taking on the entire base of this guy. And he's reclaimed. NT. Nice push there with that tank. So Blodir's arrived on his corner. FTX Commando already grabbing all of his. And Nexus walking quite far up the land bridge. Wanna be careful of that. He has T2 air. Still no PGen. Still no T2 engineer out. So quite a lot of T1 power that he'll recycle once he gets his T2 PGen up. See, this guy has no T1 PGens. He skipped them completely, only making hydrocarbons. It's pretty funny. So on to the next. He probably doesn't need this power generator or the previous one, but I think time for making something that actually costs a lot of power, because he's making far too much. So yes, we're just talking about economy right now because we're on Rush Me More. So let's watch Blodir. So Blodir was doing a stream there the other day, and he was just critiquing some people's economy management, and certain people seemed to think that he was actually wrong in what he was saying. It's just basic stuff, you know. What? Don't build PGens when you're stalling mass and overflowing power. Don't build massive long queues, because they inevitably won't lead to the correct eco balance, and you have to adjust them and stuff. But yeah, some people said, some certain high rated players said, oh, it's good to overflow some power. Well, that's just not true. Don't have to overflow power. So now Blodir is sending all of his engineers, now that he's built these couple of PGens. He has so much mass. Gonna have T2. You can see he just spammed a lot of mechs upgrades, and he's moving a lot of build power to this factory, which is going to T2 Navy. He just invested quick Navy, couple of frigates, and he's gonna patrol the beach, and now he has control of the water, and that's all you need. If your opponent doesn't make anything, you can just make a few frigates, deny anything getting into the water, and then go to T2. And then your opponent, to get back into the water, has to make quite a lot of stuff, like port bombers to take out the frigates, and get a lot of engineers there, all the while you're making navy over here, and you can react with your own frigates, more frigates and stuff, and your air. So this airly navy control is insanely good. And Nexus, you can see, had to invest a bit more, but he's winning it nonetheless. Oh, it looks like he dropped some Zooies across there to help out, which is pretty nice. You can do a lot of damage with Zooies, force frigates to micro heavily, and kill naval factories very quickly. A lot of Zooies pouring across now. Don't know if FTX can defend this. In the front, some land spam, but there's a single T2PD and 2 commanders, so there's nowhere left to go. Nexus. Nexus, Nexus, Nexus. For the first time ever has bad eco. In comparison to the rest of the players. He has neglected his mechs upgrades. Blodir now telling him to shield his mexes. Yeah, so the mechs is so close to each other. One strap bomb can kill a huge number of them, especially here we have Cybran. So one Cybran strat can probably kill everything here. And you also have these other groups of 5 mexes. Blodir saying he has cruisers. Well, he has one cruiser, which could easily be dwarfed, no problem. Zooies look like they're going to finish this off, firing some gunships or something like that. And Nexus will likely be going T2 Navy shortly. Now he does only have... So he had a bit of a stall getting the T3 PGen up, as usual. As I often say, it's a very E-heavy building to make. Even more so than other PGens. The 1200, 12,000. This 3,200 to 57,000, so heavier on the power than the mass. T3 Air for FTX Commando, T3 Air for Nexus, T3 Air just about complete for Blodir. This guy's a bit behind, but he already has T3 PGen, so actually he might be okay, but he's losing stuff to the cruiser already. Gonna have to get a lot of TMD, a lot more than FTX will need. Oh. Because there's the UEF cruisers here, which are harder to stop with TMD. This is a small arty drop from Nexus. And he's right on the T3 PGens now. This T3 PGen takes some damage as it's building. This one, will it go down? Oh, there's a bomber already out. And it drops. And there's no dodge. And almost, oh no, he's not going to kill this PGen now. It's also being repaired. Damn, if that wasn't being repaired, I think it would have for sure died. And if there's a bit of a dodge from the Zooies, or if it was a few more Zooies arriving, then that would have been a very painful loss of a PGen. Would have probably also killed the T2 PGen here, maybe. Done damage to the commander. Killed build power. That was almost very bad for FTX, but managed to save it. And let's see what's happening. Well, Nexus with some eco troubles. Too much air. Cannot afford that. Please stop making so much air. Blodir can see pausing tons of shit to balance his eco. Look at that. Who says you need to overflow power? Well, Blodir has the much better cruisers than Nexus, and he has more of them. He has 4 out now. So it's gonna try target down the TMD and then move on to other targets, but there's a lot of TMD going up here. There's no shields, however. Now maybe if he had a Destro, he could actually hit some stuff here. Of course, direct fire is going to take out any sort of TMD there. Nexus now taking the corner. There's a Zooey invasion, but there's some units retreating, falling back to defend. Gonna speed this up a bit. Blodir now making T3 mechs, making his storages. Yeah, I feel like these storages here in between T2 mechs are gonna be just more efficient than upgrading T1 to T2 max. Blodir says nuke maybe. Nexus says just make a nuke defense because it's pretty much won. Blodir says not if they nuke or use an experimental. You can see where Nexus is coming from. They have total war control, and from there it's only a matter of time before they kill the bases, because battleships are going to come out, and that's going to be pretty much unstoppable. They're already losing some economy, and Blodir kind of needs, if he micros a lot, he can maybe bring these cruisers down here, use these cruisers to attack this stuff, and then get through to more mexes here, maybe even FTX commandos mexes. But this looks like too much. This guy should add some shields to help defend this. This guy doing very well. Adds a T3 mechs. Has made hives. I really like this, adding hives here, because okay. Oh, we have a lot of production going up. T3 land production. And he's going for loyalists. He's going for the land push, so I like that. Getting all this build power set up. Gonna dump all of his mass into that. I think the hives is good because, you know, on a map where you have so much mass, build power is actually extremely important, more important than in any other scenario. Being able to use all your mass, keep your mass bar empty, and switch into different strategies. If you have enough build power, you can switch into anything you want as fast as possible. And it's where people fall down in the late game, is not actually having build power to do what they want to do. So this is nice for more air production, also being able to build defenses quickly. He's going to assist. Oh, he has a strategic missile launcher as well as these loyalists, adding some deceiver in there. Doesn't have any anti-air for his push, but I think that should be okay. And that's the sign of a battleship. And that's very bad news for this guy. That means these defenses, the shield and TMD that he's been building, will die to that battleship eventually. Now it does have a slow fire cycle, but it's going to be able to take out all the TMD, and then the cruisers can kill everything else. Cruisers from Nexus now, not going to be too effective. They already have TMD up. What do they see? Do they see... look, they can see all of this production, but I don't know if they realize Blodir's made 6 Ravagers. They're off to the left, and there's nothing for Nexus. He has 0. And now, yeah, it's Blodir focused on getting his SMD because he's seen the nuke launcher, and now the loyalists are just gonna run past. They're not even in range of all of these Ravagers, just a few of them, because they're so far to the left. The battleship can't really help at all, and Nexus is losing his base to these loyalists. He has nothing. There's no land whatsoever. This, I think, was queued up from before. It's definitely not going to happen. And Nexus can't really even use his commander too much, because if these units come back at him... Oh, that was a nice overcharge, but he's still losing his T3 B-gens. He's lost 2 of them now, and an air factory, and the third one's going to go down. It's kind of bad to lose the loyalists to the death explosion, but that's fine. Another T3 B-gen. I don't think this is going to die here. But NT, that was huge amount of damage. All these P-gens, that means no air production for Nexus now. There's still a gap. 5 mexes, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mexes killed, storage is killed, and all the P-gens. This is very bad. Blodir really screwed Nexus here, because I mean Nexus could have done something, I guess, but Blodir, if he had just built these right in the center, it would be so good. And also then he could have T2BDs as well. They would help. You kind of need the shorter range, higher damage as well. But right now, floodgates have opened. All the loyalists can just run past here, continue into Nexus base. Should run back here, kill all this economy, kill the rebuilding T3P gen. What does he see? Well, he knows what's happening. Now he's trying to run back towards this SMD. And now he's thinking about killing Nexus. He could definitely kill Nexus here if he target fires him. We have strats coming after the SMD. One hits it and it's almost dead. And this guy just needs to finish this off. He's clicking on T3P gens back here. Oh no! He didn't kill it. He didn't kill the SMD, and the strat's still dropping, but Blodir is building shields fast enough. He's under fire now from loyalists, but he's not dying. Strat's still dropping. The shields hold. FTX wondering why he didn't kill the SMD, but it wasn't even loaded. And the nuke drops. Not actually the best nuke placement. Actually kind of bad. This is not dead. These are not dead. Yeah, I think he probably could have done more damage, more to the left. Killed all of the mexes and T3 regions of Blodir. Nexus is basically dead anyway. More strats coming in, that's not too helpful. Trying to kill Blodir. Yeah. And now it looks very, very, very bad for the top team. X has lost almost everything. He's now, oh, strats hitting his base. You see the cruisers from Nexus done almost basically zero, because there's nicely spaced out TMD with also T2PD to stop Zuis from encroaching, and also shields. And the Seraphim cruiser is not really good enough to get past that, unless you have an absurd amount of them, and even then it's not really too efficient. But we have 4 battleships and they're surely getting through here. You can see already a shot has landed. And the T3 Pigeon, this one is already dead. This Mex is dead. So this is bad. This guy is actually running out of power, is he? Yeah, he needs more Pigeons. And now the shield drops. The hives are dead. The T3 Pigeon is dead. And he's gonna lose his base. He's gonna lose the nuke launcher. But in Nexus' base, he still has so many loyalists. The loyalists were a great decision. Well, they ended up being. I still think if Blodir just had his stuff in the middle, then the loyalists would probably not be so good. But I mean, he could even go for mobile arties, add 5, 6 of them, and break this position. I think if he was close to the edge, he wouldn't be able to be hit by battleships, at least. But he may still be vulnerable to cruiser fire from the water. Blodir's base completely destroyed now. he has this front position here. Nexus is also migrated over. And FTX is wondering why they never control K. From what I saw on the map vault, Blodir and Nexus have been absolutely farming 2v2s, winning almost every game. The Loyalist, so good, well played this guy. But he has lost his base, his main location. This guy says maybe nuke subs. I don't think that's possible with this E income. Pretty much isn't now that, I mean, if they had nuke subs, it's not going to be loading. And also I think, now what I would be worried about is some base on the island here, but looks like there's a strap bomber killing the corners. Yeah. All dead. One drop. And look at the mass income. This guy now has 824 mass income. What is he doing with that? I don't know. Looks like he's not really doing much of anything with it. Just building an air grid. But he's up against naval control. I think he should really just make a fatty. Could make 2 fatties right now. He does need a lot more power. But yeah, a couple of fatties maybe. But then again, the battleships are very nearby. And they would kill that fatty pretty quick, I guess. One thing there isn't in here is any shield boats, so he could torp the navy, torp the cruisers, and then strap on the remaining battleships, because these battleships are going to kill everything if you don't deal with them. Look at the range here on this. Does I think 11,000 in a volley. He can hit almost everything. I mean, FTX air grid is safe from these UEF battleships, but and his mexes, although actually yeah, they're safe. But other than that, actually there's a target. He could attack this guy's commander. Still, the base completely wiped out. The Blodir plays on. He has no SMD left that did in fact die. They have infinite mass. The problem is power. So we have PGens going up. Nexus probably has... Oh, Blodir doesn't have RAS, so that's a bit painful. But Nexus has a RAS. Oh no, he only has the first RAS. Strat's tickling battleships. We have a lot of T1 spam coming. And it's a lot of RD. And a load of T1 tanks from FTX. Guess they're left over from the early game. And any loyalists, so you can still simply run past. The Ravagers still in place, so can't really attack this base. There's actually more Ravagers added here at the back. And some T2. Nexus now in T3 Navy, making battleships. He didn't invest into many cruisers at the front. Has a few at the back to defend versus air, spread them around. Didn't invest into many at the front, and look at this, the battleships from the other side are taking out these mexes before Nexus can even nearly get through. Nice wall from Blodir. I mean, it'd be nicer on this side actually, but this is good too. Anything to mess with the pathing. This guy could probably go for... Not sure. He's lost his entire base now. Let's see what's his income. He still has 200 income. No, he doesn't. He has about 70. Couple of mexes left here. And one there. And that's about it. Other than that, he's just living off reclaim. He does still have some power income, it seems, from somewhere. Ah yes, some T3 P-gens here. He can't get through though. Blodir's base is still alive. And the battleships now are going to be on both sides. Where's Nexus battleship? Oh, it's back here. He needs to send that forward. Try and kill this air grid. We don't have any T2 arty to defend. But we have a nuke. And this is the game ender. Halfway complete. SMD now going up from Blodir. So many T3 engineers. Gonna build that, and also he's gonna assist it heavily. He can't reach it with his battleships. His cruisers also can't reach. See, they have basically the same range, cruiser and battleship. FTX says this game is stressing me out. Yes, I know why. Because if you lose this game, it's not gonna look good. Yep, the stress is getting to him. FTX wants to nuke the PD, and yeah, this guy just suicided all of his loyalists, unfortunately. Not too great, but he is under fire now from battleships on both sides. These battleships actually got retreated slightly, but there isn't really much for them left to kill. Not much at all. He has killed the T3 production, the HQ, the support factories. So a few P-gens here to kill, but really nothing much. This nuke is surely gonna land. Here's the SMD, but we saw it was only just complete. Almost halfway done, and the nuke is launched directly on top of it. Nexus with the rip. And all the power is in this location. All the PD to defend versus the land. Although actually, they don't really need to defend versus land anymore, but the mexes are here. Although Blodir now rebuilding these ones, but the power is the main issue. He saves his commander. Still has his T3 HQ, but he only has 500 power income. Nexus has how much? 2,000 from his RAS. Yeah, see if Nexus had a RAS and Blodir had RAS, then you could actually rebuild a lot easier. But with Blodir only having 500 power income, he actually he has to make hydros now. But he calls it. He can't stop the strap bombers anyway. Doesn't have power for shields to survive. He could have had his cruisers back here instead of leaving them forward with the battleships. Yeah. They both had cruisers back here. Maybe. Because there's only just arties coming for them. But yeah, anything they do, anything they build will just get nuked anyway, unless Nexus gets several more battleships here to kill the nuke. So they call it. They could have pulled that off, but that was a very nice try. So well played. Well played. And especially from this guy, just running, getting all these loyalists past, that just won the game there when Nexus got absolutely destroyed by those lawyers. And if this guy hadn't done that, it would have been very, very bad because he saw what the battleships did. Look at the destruction. UEF battleship absolutely dominating. No reaction from either player. I mean, they would have needed, maybe if they had some experimental, maybe some megaliths, you could push back the battleships, but the loyalists were a great option. If Blodir had his stuff in the middle, his PDs in the center, I think they would have been difficult to get through. He would have had to make arties and stuff to get past. But he took advantage of the placement, got through, destroyed Nexus, and eventually the nuke won the game. Well played. Thanks for watching. I shall see you in the next one.